For generations of Australians, the Salvation Army has represented hope and mercy in our society. In times when people are struggling, the salvos provide essential support to those in need, seeking to foster a better life and a fairer world for all. But the services of the Salvation Army do not happen alone. They are only made possible by the generosity and kindness of everyday Australians who partner with us. These services have a long-term impact on the well-being of those we help and on our world.
In Australia, there are over 100,000 people who are either homeless, that can be literally living on the streets, or who are in tenuous, kind of non-reliable housing. The Salvation Army tries to address homelessness at every level possible. So from working with people who are literally living on the streets, and we have outreach services that are helping them directly, to taking them into crisis accommodation, like this place that we're at today, to working with them over the longer term to ensure that their housing is sustained and they don't end up homeless again. I can think of one man who came in touch with our services who had just been kicked out of his home because he was living with other people and there was violence occurring within the home. And coming in touch with our services like this one, helped him not only to ensure that he was in stable, safe and secure housing, but also begin to address the drinking that led to his violence. And once that was addressed, he was able to sustain housing over a longer period of time and also get involved later on in actually regaining employment again so that that housing was secure. We've been in the business of homelessness for so long that many of our services are still stuck in antiquated buildings that are no longer suited for the purpose that we've got now. So they need, at the minimum, a bit of a refreshing, but in some cases, a complete rebuild. I think the facility that we're at today demonstrates what can be done in the case of homelessness services to really increase the dignity available to people who access our services. I think the real advantage that we get when people give us the capacity to provide service above and beyond what we might otherwise be able to, and this is the kind of thing that wills and bequests really generate in us, is the ability to ensure that people have more than just a roof over their heads, but are helped with things like learning how to cook for themselves, learning how to maintain something like a vegetable garden. That all contributes to the kind of service that we can provide that makes people feel special and loved and cared for and a part of the society in which we all belong.
My name's Catherine Wright and I have worked for the Salvation Army for many years in our drug and alcohol services. Drugs and alcohol impact every area of society, every class of people, every geographical area, every age group, in fact, from the unborn child to the very elderly. The Salvation Army runs some 52 drug and alcohol services. This is everything from detox services, residential rehabilitation, counselling. We really cover the whole spectrum of drug and alcohol treatment from primary health through to tertiary interventions. There is not one state in the Australian Southern Territory where there are not major property needs. We get by at the moment, but for example, our facilities don't always cater well to families. Our facilities, we could do with more bed space, we could do with more spaces where we're able to counsel in a friendly way. And in many instances, the maintenance of our buildings just overwhelm us. If people were considering making a donation to this area, I would really encourage them to think about just how life-changing this work can be, not only for the person with the addiction, but for their family and for the whole of society. It really makes a very big difference.
An example of the support that the Salvation Army Emergency Service gives in two recent incidents are firstly the floods, where we send emergency service teams to towns such as Rochester, paid out large amounts of money urgently to people who needed it, but also fed the population up there until they could get back to their shopping, get their food into their own homes. And then there was Black Saturday, where we're immediately on the scene, providing food for the combatants and the displaced people, providing clothing to those that needed it, providing chaplaincy and other support to the affected community members who had lost relatives or were missing relatives or had suffered because of the event. To fulfil this function, we have numerous pieces of equipment, including large catering trucks. We also carry large supplies of airbeds, blankets, other things that may be needed urgently in relief centres. And during the function of the floods, we provided well in excess of 2,000 beds to areas such as Kerrang, Echuca, Rochester, Charlton, Horsham, and the list is virtually endless. The capability of our equipment is limited. We do require more equipment. We do require more resources. The more we have, the more we can help during the emergency. A situation such as Black Saturday really tested our resources. So if we are better equipped and have more resources, we will be readily able to respond to these large-scale emergencies much quicker. The Salvation Army, as I said, is one big organisation. It has us who go out to help the community. It has our workers, our staff who support us in our administration, but it is also the community that helps us. So in a broader view, the Salvation Army is not only those you see at the front line or the organisation that you see represented in the newspapers, but the Salvation Army in the broader sense is the community, helping the community.
As many of us seek to leave a lasting mark on our world, a financial bequest in your will is just one way you can engage in this transformational work. This gift can help the Salvos bring hope to every corner of our nation and have a meaningful impact on thousands of lives. If you would like more information about how you can support the Salvos in your will, please contact us on 1800 337 082 or via our website to receive your free wills information booklet. Be a part of the Salvos as together we bring hope to all.